Hi everyone, welcome to the session. I have two special students from Vedica scholars. I'm going to talk a lot about Vedica. By the way, there are a lot of students they've been asking me, sir, will you want to talk to somebody from Vedica? We want to know their perspective. The horse's mouth, right? So guys, I've got Krati with me. I've got Suhasini with me. I just had a little chat with them. They come with a great background. So they'll be talking about why Vedica, who should be opting for Vedica scholar program, and how their journey has been. You guys are in 7th term, right? So we'll kickstart with the introduction. Anybody want to go first? Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
So I'll go ahead. Hi, I'm Krati. I hail from Indore, and I was here till I did my schooling and then my undergrad in commerce here, and then I went on to pursue a graduate diploma in management from University of London International Programs. But I found my true calling in the social sector, and for past 3.5 years, I was working on changing the face of education and bringing alternative education in rural India with this NGO called Barefoot College International. And in the last 3.5 years, I have worked in 15 to 16 states of India. So yeah, that's my background.
Okay. Out of curiosity, I just want to ask, why were you so inclined towards NGO? Like, what made you to kind of join it?
So I think it was a part of my life since the starting years. Like my family had some involvements as volunteers and all. So, but I did not know it could be a career, and I got to know it very late. And then when I got to know, I just joined it.
Okay, so you actually had a sure interest towards it. Great. That sounds good. Suhasini, coming back to you, kindly introduce yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, guys. My name is Suhasini, and I hail from the southern part of India. I'm a southerner by heart. I have done my English literature from Ethiraj College. Growing up, I wanted to be everything. I still do. And that's why you will see that my path is anywhere but linear. It's a huge zigzag, but I figured out how to connect those dots and make sense of it. Second year of my college, I had interned with Goldman Sachs. See, right now from English literature to investment banking already. From then, I had gotten a pre-placement offer. Then I joined them as an operations analyst. Straight out of college, worked there for 2 years, and then quit my stint there. I freelanced for a bit as a yoga instructor. I'm a certified yoga instructor. And then I'm also a trained Carnatic vocalist. So I do sing. And then I wanted to write. So one thing led to the other. And then I joined a startup where I used to do content writing, copywriting for a digital marketing and branding agency. It's called Native Creative. It's based out of Bangalore. I was the first employee there. And then we ended up co-founding and building the firm from scratch. I was with them for about 4 years. So I think net my work experience is about 6-ish years. That's pretty much.
Yeah. Brilliant. Great profile. Both of you have amazing profiles, to be very honest. Okay, now you guys have done a great job, as far as your education is concerned, as far as your extracurricular is concerned, as far as your work is concerned. We work with great brands, why Vedica Scholar? At the end of the day, why would you choose Vedica Scholar program over and above the other colleges? Definitely don't name anything, don't name any institute, but still really want to understand. I'm really curious about it.
So I actually won't have any names because Vedica was not one of the options. It was the option for me.
Nice.
So I had always thought that after 3 to 4 years of work experience, I'll go for an MBA. And I was looking at colleges abroad because I wanted to do something still like non-conventional or something different, which was relevant. And but nothing was appealing to me as such. I wanted something which is for me and not something that's very one size fits all sort of it. So through a friend, I got to know about Vedica Scholars Program. And just when I saw the structure that it includes management, liberal arts, communication, and personal mentorship, I was sold. I was like, this is what I need. This is what I want. Because when I was working also, I realized the gaps that, just knowledge is not enough. You need to work on yourself. So all these 4 pillars, I think, made the program really work it for me. And I just applied and got here. So that's my journey.
What about you, Suhasini?
Mine's perhaps a bit different in the sense that, I must thank my journey at my startup, because in the startup experience, you end up wearing several hats and you become a learner, and you're always in the learner zone. And it made me realize that there is so much more to learn. And when we were trying to build the startup, I felt like, the learning was happening, but there were huge learning gaps for me, knowledge gaps. And I thought, this kind of gap I need to kind of fill with academic experience, academic knowledge, and rather mentorship, right? So I then started looking at courses. Then I spoke to a few people. Everybody would just throw the MBA word at me. And when I look at the curriculum, I'm just like, yeah, this is so too linear, and nothing about my life is linear, like I just said. So I was looking at several courses, fellowships, etc. And when I bumped into Vedica as a part of my research, I'm like, wow, the multidisciplinariness of this program exactly matches my multi-potentialite personality. And I felt home. I instantly felt home. I was like, this is exciting. This is, I don't know, overwhelming in a nice way. And I can't do one course, or I can't pursue one thing at a time. I need that multiple, interesting things stimulating me. And it's just been such a dream. So when I went through the curriculum, I'm just like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, there's philosophy, and then there is all your management related courses. And then you also read up about law. I think it's an absolute cracker. So that's why Vedica.
Perfect. So, when I've gone through the entire program, you learn the orthodox MBA stuff, which like Fin and, marketing and operations and all that. Would love to understand, how does a liberal art changes the entire gamut here? So that's something, really interesting. I really hope, because we've never got an opportunity to learn liberal arts. And though, like, I remember when I was doing my graduation back in Symbiosis, we had a course of liberal arts, and we were like hardcore commerce guys, and we were like, yaar, ye kaun karta hai? So just tell us a little bit about it.
So like you, I'm a hardcore commerce girl. So even I was apprehensive that how liberal arts would be. I was excited because I wanted to learn, but then of course I had this apprehension that would I be able to do it? But so we had the liberal arts 101 course with Professor Yogang Goyal, and the way he set the base for us, it didn't seem overwhelming. And when you just what we did not study in that course, we did not study like liberal arts, we studied management, technology, and we started to see through a perspective of ethics, and how do psychology fit in, or philosophy fit in these subjects. And then we realized that, oh, liberal arts is not something which is different, it is there in your life, you just need to observe a bit more. And it's more about critical thinking, analyzing, looking at different perspectives. And then it was followed up with courses like philosophy, which seems like oh, you would be reading theories, but no, it was just observing your daily life and seeing how you can make those connections. And I think just having data in front of me, or even having information that I have right now, I now start thinking that what's going on behind the scene, who this is impacting, where are the connections. And that's something that has gotten into me very naturally. That's what liberal arts has done. So I think that's how it has been for me, I guess.
Okay.
If I may add though, the thing with liberal arts in context of management is that, you get into workplace with all of these management skills, but I think what often kind of ends up looking like it's lacking in the workspace is how to be good managers. And to be good managers, you've got to understand someone's culture, someone's history, where they come from. How does something that happened 100 years ago is still carried as a baggage in some people's cultures, right? So when you get like a holistic understanding of not just workplace but the world, you become worldly wise with empowering subjects, like we said, like law and philosophy, etc. I think it equips you to become more sensitive, and I think it kind of makes you a real manager who kind of addresses not just how to use Excel. I think Excel is great, but also just generally excel at being managers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a wise point, because ये चीज होना बहुत जरूरी है. Otherwise, honestly, when you talk about MBA, I think so there are two things that I look at MBA. Either it ends up as an academics, exam, या फिर party. So ये दो जगह पे चले जाता है MBA. But what you rightly said, Like I said, the angle has to be more towards the learning, understanding yourself, and understanding that philosophy and psychology and how it actually fits into management. I think that's a beautiful plane. Now, Krati made a mention about one of the prof, right, from liberal arts. Now, this is where I want to kind of jump onto the other point, wherein I would love to understand how are the professors, the entire teaching panel, and how are the mentors at Vedica, and how do they actually help you guys?
So in terms of faculty, I think a great plus point is that Vedica has a visiting faculty model. So we get the best from, I think, for all the streams, and not just from India, but from abroad also. So some of the, like right now we have corporate strategy. So our professor has come down from USA to teach us. And so, yeah, so that's the kind of blend that we get. And it's really great. And we see that passion in them, so they are the best in their field, but the way they simply explain it to us, because we are a batch who's as diverse as it gets, so that's kind of something we also learn from them. And we've been through about 50 to 60 courses, I think, so far, on a conservative, I would say, estimate, and none of it has seemed very overwhelming, whether it was technical subject or something very creative, because the faculty is so good at what they do and so passionate. And regarding the mentors, so we have two mentors that we get. First is an industry mentor. So that's a senior male leader who's with us since the first month of our Vedica journey. And they are kind of there for you for everything. So whether it's your professional or anything related to Vedica or anything on a personal level that you would want to discuss, they are always there for you to guide you. So I have Sunil Vadva, who was the ex MD and CEO for Tata Power, and he he's somebody I can just text or for anything, and he'll probably speak in two sentences but give me the right advice or point me to the right resource. And I just look forward to the calls with him. And the second one is, of course, the shadow mentorship, and I think we'll talk about that in a bit more detail. Yeah.
Swasini, what about you?
So about the faculty, right? I think I will be definitely understating, even if I say the fact that every day I ask myself, do I deserve this kind of faculty that we're getting at Vedica? Because we just get the best, like the top 1% kind of faculty. And I'm not kidding. Like she said, right, for corporate strategy, from US, we're having somebody come and teach. For leadership and innovation, which is my favorite course, by the way, the CEO of Akshay Patra, Bhavani Singh Shekhawat, takes the classes. He flew down from UK as well to come and interact with us for a couple of sessions. Then we have gems like Ankur Kulsreshtha, who teaches us corporate finance. I mean, listen, I'm from English literature background. It's considered that we're not good at math, and hence we chose that line. And I think somewhere I agreed also, I internalized that. But the kind of teachers we get for technical subjects and the kind of spirit they bring to the table, where they don't make you feel like you're not equipped enough. They will start from the ground level, and you become so confident in these subjects. It's ridiculous. It's so good. Like, they're so good, right? In terms of mentorship, I completely agree with Krati. So one more thing to add about that is, so the program mentors are all men who are aligned with each scholar, and they do that to bring about sort of like a balance in gender, because we also have to interact with the male workforce in the work environment. And those mentors are just God sent. Absolutely. Like, you can just text them, and they set up time, and they teach you, they equip you with so many skills that that are going to come in so handy, right? So we've had like stellar professors, like Raghav Subramanian was so amazing in marketing. Then we'd had Urvashi Bhutalia, who taught us Women's Society and Changing India. And, so the list just continues. We'll just end up reading out all the list of professors we've had, and then, we'll run out of time. But the list of professors, and even better is the access we have with them. You can build this network for a lifetime, and soon enough, you'll realize that, you have just crack the jackpot. That's the kind of network you build after Vedica.
So I think the one thing that I would certainly love over here is that at least when you are at least at your level, guys, definitely you are getting an access to speak to ex CXOs, more than speaking to them. You at least get to know how do these people react or respond. It's more about understanding their psychology or philosophy, because you will be working under them for a couple of years. Like, you'll be joining some big organizations and you'll be working under these leaders. So understanding that, his mindset or her mindset who's sitting at a top level, how they are going to be reacting or what are their expectations. I think that's the best part as far as MBA learning is concerned, because ये सब चीजें हम MBA करने के बाद 5-6 साल के बाद सीखते हैं, ठोकरे खा के. तो मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ पे जो access मिलता है, at least कि बात कैसे होती है. I think that's a great point. Now let's move ahead with the EA to CEO. This is, I'm super excited to know, because I really want to know how does this work. This is really unique, and I don't think any other institute is actually giving this kind of exposure in the country, at least. But I'm very sure this is really famous to the Western countries. They do have these kind of concepts in the graduate programs and all that. How does this work? Like this 2 weeks, right? No, 8 weeks. 8 weeks ka program hota hai na.
Yes.
How does this entire thing work? It's very interesting. Tell me something more about it.
So I think in the beginning of after we've joined the course, we get our introductions, etc. And then slowly, I think 2 months into the course, the process of understanding our profiles, where we'd like to shadow or which mentor we'd like to shadow, kind of preferences is taken into consideration.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you guys choose the mentor or the management decides?
We don't. We just give them a preference of what industry we'd like to kind of test waters and kind of explore. So that's like a very exhaustive, form that we fill, which gives the careers team complete understanding of where do we stand, where do we want to go, where do our skills lie, and where do we best fit. So they do all of this mapping. And I think in the month of like say March, April, the careers team is like full throttle working on this kind of understanding which location have we specified, what profile do we want to shadow, etc. And then I think by end of April they kind of get back to us with the list of scholar and the leader mapping. So every leader that is on board with Vedica is like a C-level exec.
Wow.
Yeah. So nothing lesser than that. So this is actually, to establish that the women today who are a part of Vedica should not just be, loosely empowered that, you should stay in the workforce, but we are actually being mapped with those women who've stuck in the workforce and figured out a way to make it to leadership, right? So I think these 2 months are incredibly empowering for us to know how did they do what they did, how did they figure out what was their secret sauce. And as a part of this, so right now June 6th it gets kick-started. We'll also be getting introduced to the leaders team and we'd be assigned projects. This is a graded module, by the way. This is not just an internship where we go learn and come back. There is an assessment that happens after the mentorship, where we also have to present to the careers team and the program team here at Vedica, what have we learned, what have we contributed, and then they also get a feedback from the mentors as to how did we perform, right?
All right.
And if I've missed anything, you can just pitch in.
Yeah, I think Suhasini covered what the entire module is about. And we got our mentors assigned recently. So when I joined Vedica, actually one of the reasons that I joined Vedica was also in case I wanted to, move to some other sector. This being a general management program gave me the option. And when I was filling my shadow form as well, I was like, I want to explore and let's see. And I kind of was open to see what happens, but the way the careers team has mapped me, I don't think I could have done it, because I want to go into startup sector. I still want to have a connection with the social sector. I want to be in an organization which is grow, and I wanted actually to go to Bangalore because I've not worked in that city. And they have ticked all the boxes without me saying all these things. They actually analyzed my profile and my performance also throughout these 7-8 months, where my interests lie. So because we are a smaller batch, we are just 100 people, there's a lot of personal attention, and everybody knows what kind of person you are. They also understand. So I've been matched with Ramya Venkatraman, who is the founder CEO of CENTA, Center for Teacher Accreditation. So they work for making teaching an aspirational profession, and I could not have gotten a better mentor, and I'm very excited for this module.
Perfect. Are you guys on campus as of now?
No, we got a summer break, so we'll be returning back day after.
Acha. How does a day look like in Vedica Scholars for all of you? How does a day look like? Is it going to be really fun? Like, is it fun? Like, or there's a lot of stress?
It is hectic, obviously, because it's an MBA program, but no 2 days are the same. And I like that about this program, that something unexpected or something new would happen. So we have our classes from 9 to 6:30 anytime in between. And then we have projects that we have to work on, and we all live in the hostel. So there's something or the other going on, all 106 women together. And so that's the kind of like usual life that we have. But I think for me, I really enjoy the group projects. So I think for almost all the subjects, we have some element of working in groups. And the way it has made me, know my peers and their motivations, understand how things work. It's been really great for me. So yeah.
Perfect. Suhasini, any take on this?
I loved how Krati said no 2 days are same at Vedica, because that is so true. And the very popular line at Vedica is Vedica calendar is very dynamic. Also because we have a visiting faculty model. The best part about that is, if something is relevant, say for example, a lot changed after say the pandemic. Whatever was in vogue before pandemic was completely like erased, and something new became relevant say today. So say Vedica has that kind of margin to include courses that are relevant at that time, and so they would bring in guest lectures and give us that kind of exposure that is required for today. Say for example, if it were any other university, they'll have a lot more process to ensure that that course could be included, but for us it's like we wish for it today and it will come to us tomorrow, right? So yeah, it's basically the 9 to 6 typical days, 9 to 6, and it's filled with sometimes back-to-back classes. We have exams, we have presentations, and even each module has its own way of assessment. We don't have your good old exam model for most of them. We have MCQs to presentations to sometimes we even have theater, like yeah. So we do role plays. Sometimes we do reels for assessment. So it's so good. It's like a potpourri of random but very like tempting ways of assessment. So it's really nice.
Yeah, I mean that's one interesting bit, that every professor has their own way of assessing. Like for finance, we recently did a book review, so all of had to pick a book and we had to do a book review, and we were asked to write blogs, whatever we wanted to write. So everyone, like the teachers also, they experiment a lot with the way they want to assess us, and that keeps it even more interesting. We don't have to wait for the end of the term exam because we don't have that.
Fantastic. One question I want to ask you guys. It's women preferred program, right? Vedica Scholar, right? And it's specially designed in that way. Does it really help you guys to sort of open up or kind of do a lot of creative stuff? Does it really help you to do that?
So it's a women's only program, and when I was coming here, I was a bit skeptical that how would this function, would I be missing out on something? But it has been the opposite. So when you learn with all women, there's obviously a camaraderie. You have some experiences that only someone who has lived it can connect with. And the other thing is, there is no division in the kind of roles and the kind of skills. So it's not like a person, like there would be a male, if there's some organizing, something has to be done, so they will arrange for the travel, and the girls they would do the decoration and stuff. Here it's all us, so we have to run out, we have to do the stuff here. We are the ones who are good in numbers, we are the ones who are good in creative. So that lens of what I can do, like the gender bias that is inside me, I may also not realize, but that kind of comes forward, and then you start overcoming it, and that's very important, I think.
Mm, mm, mm.
Similar experience for me. Actually, I had no apprehension, or kind of, I wasn't paranoid in the sense, will it be fun or not? Because my bachelor's was like an all-women course too. So, but the only thing I was scared is that, not scared really, coming from south of India, I think just the whole thing of Delhi, moving to Delhi was a big deal. But we live in like a plush locality, in the sense that southern Delhi is like a really good part of Delhi, right? So super well equipped, etc. But I think the one thing that emerges really strongly about doing this course as a women only course is that you've got to be in that community of women who come with like a shared spirit of making it to a leadership position without any kind of shaking of belief. We don't want anybody touching that energy that we bring to the table, saying hame ye karna hai aur karke dikhayenge types.
Wow.
And if somebody is feeling low, it's like a battalion of women that will come and pick you up and make you feel better, right? So because as much as we have shared stories of grief, or questioning of self-worth, to all of these feelings, there is also, we each of us brings like a unique story to tell. And every day somebody's story at Vedica will inspire you. Like Anuradha, our founding dean, says, every day somebody will be tearing up at Vedica, having an epiphany. She has normalized it. She's just like, ye to hota hi rehta hai. Every day will be a transformative experience if somebody is willing to learn. Every day somebody would be having like that moment at Vedica, right? So it's very important, because even I'd asked that, yaar, kabhi there's too many women kind of, but then I'm just like, if that shouldn't overwhelm you, you're here for a reason. And then I think too many women can never overwhelm you. So it's just been so fantastic so far. And actually, a lot of women together are a lot of fun. I think we have so much more fun than if it would have been like a co-ed, for sure.
No, I think when I saw the entire concept, and I was kind of surprised, but then eventually when I understood, I think it's great. It's great. It's a very focused program, and I think women are definitely a good leader, and they're great managers also. Would love to see a lot of Indira Novis eventually, and mere khayal se the corporate world is also moving to that level, wherein they definitely want to have a lot of women, leaderships coming in, a lot of big companies also. Final question for you. Can you tell us a little bit about scholarship? Has any one of you got the scholarship at Vedica?
So I have gotten a merit-based scholarship. I applied towards the start of the course, like in the last cycle. And so I applied for it, and I got a partial scholarship, but there also a provision of need-based scholarship, and preference is always given to. So if there's anyone who's deserving, like they would, like money would never be a barrier. Vedica will ensure that you get admission and you get into the program. So scholarships are available, and again there's also the support from like loan, etc., that you can take. So that provision is also there. So money would not be a barrier for you, for sure.
Perfect. So Asin, anything you want to add on?
Yes, I also received a merit-based scholarship. And I was actually, I had applied to Vedica, and like the foremost, when the application was open, I had applied to Vedica, and much later I had applied for scholarship. But to add on to Krati's point, I think Vedica will never, or rather it will go to the farthest extent possible to bridge the gap between opportunity and the woman's desire to get into workspace and make a career for herself. So if it's money that's a barrier, they will try and bridge the gap as much as they can. And if it's your background that's being a deterrent, I know my friends who've received like full scholarships, and their stories are so inspiring, right? So if you've got the will to do it, Vedica has a way for you. So
And this is something I really like about your college, because we always been talking a lot about that women should be educated and girls should be educated. But I'll say the most important part, after your graduation, when you really want to pursue masters, and masters will come with hefty fees, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs. But it's also an opportunity for somebody to stand on her own feet, right? But I'll say ये चीज है बहुत सही है, because if there is somebody who's deserving but having a financial problem or loan problem, because everybody won't be having collateral and all that stuff, then I think Vedica can be a bright choice or a right choice for them. So guys, those who have watched this video, and if you feel that you've got a great profile, then I think finances should not be a problem for you. You can definitely fill the form, approach Vedica, and then let's see, if you get the scholarship, boom, you're right there. So at least try for it. And guys, Krati and Suhasini, thank you so very much for taking some time out and enlightening us. I had a great time talking to you, and got to learn this, liberal arts. And thank you so much for that liberal arts, at least. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. And wish you all the very best for your whatever semester or trimester are left now in your MBA program. I'm sure that you guys are going to rock.
Thank you, Ketan. Thanks for having us. We love talking to you and telling everyone about Vedica.
Great.
Thank you, Ketan. It's been such a wonderful ride this half an hour with you. We enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Questions. We relived the Vedica, first 8 months of Vedica. Thank you.
Thanks. It was great.